was worried about.
Numbers 9-4. Should we have a
Great, thanks. Welcome, everybody. This is the January 12th meeting of the Basalt Council. And no one should have to watch the preparations for these things. We have some guests. I see Michael Lipkin is on. Michael, good evening. We'll be talking to you shortly. We have Officer Monk is filling in for the chief tonight. Thanks, Aaron. We're happy to see you here. And I think we have a quorum. So with that, I think we should call the roll, Pam, and get our meeting underway.
I would be happy to. Let's start with Gary Tenenbaum.
Here.
Thank you, Gary. Bill Infante.
Yes, I am here.
Yay, thanks, Bill. Glenn Drummond.
Here.
Thank you, Glenn. David Knight.
Here.
Thank you, David. Elise Hoddle.
Present.
Thank you, Elise. Ryan Slack.
Here.
And Mayor Kane.
Here.
The A team is present.
Yeah, that's great. All right, thank you for that. Our first order of business tonight is to approve a consent agenda, although there are a couple items on there that we probably want to take off and address. So I'm gonna ask Ryan Mahoney for a little help on this. Do we want to, do we need to discuss the Bill Infante's appointment to Northwest COG as a separate item, or do we just put that on consent?
Yeah, I think all that on consent is fine. He's agreed to continue, so I think that's fine. And then with regard to item 2D, I thought that we could keep it on consent, but maybe just, provide, a thank you, verbal thank you to Mr. Lipton.
No, absolutely. So, hey, congratulations and thanks, Bill Infante, for continuing on Northwest COG. And
Very welcome. Always an honor.
Important function for us all to stay in touch with those guys. So, really appreciate you doing it. So, the other matter that we want to take up is to recognize Michael Lipkin for his generosity in facilitating this wonderful land contribution out of Willits. And we have a certificate here that I was going to read, but I gotta get my hands on it. Here we go. Happen to have it. So if you guys will bear with me for a minute, I'd like to read a proclamation. And this is a Town of Basalt proclamation honoring Michael Lipkin's gift to Basalt. I guess we could stop right there, but I think I'll go on and elaborate. Whereas the council, citizens, and staff of the Town of Basalt want to express their appreciation for all the efforts made by Michael Lipkin to make the Town of Basalt the wonderful place to live and work that it is. And whereas we've been informed that Michael Lipkin is by far the largest owner of Sofico LLC, and whereas Sofico conveyed the property commonly known as Parcel 9 in the Willits area to the Town of Basalt on December 31st, 2020 as a gift in fee simple, free and clear with no conditions, terms, or future interest. And whereas today we recognize Michael's contribution and thank him wholeheartedly for this gift. Now, therefore, we, the Town of Basalt Council, recognize the Town of Basalt as a far better place due to the generous gift by Michael Lipkin. Michael, thank you kindly. You know, I think all those things are true, and we're really pleased that things are going, from all appearances, so swimmingly at Willits, and all your years of toil in the fields out there are really paying off. So sincere thanks from the town, and it's a really nice parcel of land. So thanks for that. And I don't know if there are other comments from council.
Thank you. Very
Thanks,
generous.
Michael.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Did you have an acceptance speech that was 45 minutes?
I'm sorry, my internet broke up for a second there, Bill, and I didn't hear what you said.
Did you have an acceptance speech that would be less than 45 minutes?
I think I can cut it down to about 10. I only want to say it has been an extraordinary opportunity and pleasure to get to work on Willits for the last 25 years and work with the town. I feel like the luckiest guy in the world. But you've got to understand a gift like this comes not from me, but from the success of Willits that an awful lot of people made happen. I've got a team and a lot of other people that have worked awfully hard to make Willits the place it is. And I'm just proud of that and lucky to be part of it, and anything I can do to help
Great. Well,
engage that civic forum and create this opportunity feels great to me. So
yeah.
Thank you guys for the work.
more to come from all appearances, so thanks. Any other comments from council before we roll on? I will ask for a motion to approve the consent agenda. It's item 2 on your packet. So I think with that, we could entertain a motion to approve consent. So anybody up for that?
Mayor, I move the town council approve the consent agenda items as presented.
Second.
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded. Do we want a roll call, Pam?
I don't believe one's necessary here, is it, Jeff?
And we should take the call by roll just because there is a resolution.
Oh, good point. Good point. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So let's begin with David Knight.
Yes.
Bill Infante.
Yes.
Thank you. Glenn Drummond.
Yes.
Thank you. Elise Huddle.
Yes.
Thank you. Ryan Slack.
Yes.
Thank you. Bill Kane.
Yes.
Thank you. And Gary Tenenbaum.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries.
Right, well, thank you all for that. So at this point in our meeting, we will now call for any public comments. So at this time, any members of the public are invited to address the council on any issue. So feel free to call in. Please limit comments to 3 minutes and identify yourself, name and address. Please be courteous and thoughtful. And council will make no decision other than to direct the town manager. So Susan, do you want to provide directions for call-in?
Sure. The easiest way is to access the town's agenda on the Agenda Center at www.basalt.net. On the 4th page of that is the access instructions, and the easiest way is to hit the link there and follow the instructions. In lieu of that, I believe Caesar has the phone numbers on the screen right now. You can call 1-669-900-6833. And the webinar ID is 930-7484-6969. So we may have a person on the attendees that would like to speak. Pam, I'm not sure if Tony wants to speak here or on a public hearing item.
Okay.
I have unmuted Tony, so she can answer that question. Well, Tony, did you want to speak during this time period?
She has her mute on.
She does. Tony, can you hear us? Can you unmute and let us know if you want to speak during this time period?
Okay.
Tony, the other thing you could do is just email planning@basalt.net if you're having trouble, and we can give you a call to walk you through it. But we're going to assume that you are not asking to speak at this time. Does that seem?
Oh, there she is.
Yep.
There she is. Tony, can you hear us?
Tony, we're not hearing you from this end. Again, if you want to email planning@basalt.net and indicate if you're trying to talk now or during a public hearing item. There is a little delay between my talking.
Hello?
Oh, there she is.
Hello?
Tony, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
You can hear me now? Yes, I
Yes.
can. So you can hear me now and I can hear you?
Correct.
Oh, awesome. Well, sorry about that. I'm not sure about this new modern technology. But I hope everyone's having a good year so far. Happy New Year 2021. And hopefully everyone's staying nice and safe and staying healthy. And I have an ask, and that has to do with the experience that people in Basalt have when they go to dine at the restaurants on Two Rivers Road that are right across from the old Clark's Market site. I think everyone's aware that a couple of people have gotten hit in that section. And the other night when I was coming home from work and it was dark, I almost took out 4 people. I came through the stop sign and I'm just driving slowly. And all of a sudden, 4 people out of nowhere, actually they came from the cars across the street and they just walked right in front of my car or my truck, and it was on ice. So I was wondering if maybe perhaps there could be some type of pedestrian crossing in the middle of that block. So when people want to go to a Free Range or the Mexican restaurant or any of the other shops over there, that they have a designated walkway. And it'd be really cool to have it lighted, like at Willits. You know, they have the lights that go across the street, and it just makes it a really wonderful experience. But I just wanted to put that through. And then also, I did want to speak during the public hearing tonight. I'd like to exercise my due process rights for the financing for the pool. And I wanted to send a photo to be put up on the screen, and I'm not quite sure how I should do that. I think normally I send an email to James and then he puts it up. Is that the way I'm supposed to do that?
Yeah, Tony, that would work. If you send it to me, I can put it up come the time, appropriate time.
Okay, and your email address. I'm sure I have it in my contacts. So, okay. Well, everyone, again, have a great new year. And again, it'd be really fun to have a nice, safe walkway through there. Like, as I said, those lights that over at Willits.
Good, that's
So-
good thoughts. And, I think we've all had similar experiences, so that's a good observation there. Thanks for that. We'll talk to you a little later about the pool financing.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right, Susan, any others?
I don't, there's, the other attendees are Elise and, just Tony, so I think that we're good, and I haven't received, let me just double check, I haven't received any emails, from anybody having a problem, so I think we're good to go.
Great, thank you. With that, we will close that portion of our meeting and move on to our town manager. Actually, we have council comment in here.
Are you guys hungry?
We do. So I'd like to open the floor for any comments from councilors. Gary Tenenbaum's got his hand up. Go, Gary.
Gary, you're muted.
You're muted, Gary.
That's funny because I was trying to put my hand up and it was disappearing. You saw that anyway.
It was disappearing. All right. Well, you're on.
So I'm on. Well, though, I'm happy. Thank you, Ryan. Thanks everybody for, I think we all signed on to that letter to our representative Bobert. I'm, as everybody, I'm pretty disturbed and I'm disappointed. One of the things I really worry about is she really going to be able to represent us here in the Western Slope and the issues that are important? And so one thing I'd like to do is, obviously she's not going to resign. She's going to be our representative. I would like to invite her to a Zoom, because it's easy to do a Zoom. I would just like to invite her to a Zoom so she could talk to us, and I'd promise to be on my best behavior, and we could all promise. And really, the question I do want to ask is, what is her vision for this district? Because I don't see it. I see false information. I see misinformation. I see freedom for, what? I want to know what that is. And I would love to, if everybody would like to, and just invite her, not to harass her or anything, just to hear from her about her vision for this district. It's a huge district. We all have the same issues, water, agriculture, recreation, public lands, renewable energy. There's all these big issues, and nothing she has done showed us anything what she's really going to do for us. I mean, her biggest thing is making sure Second Amendment rights are, upheld, and that I never knew was at risk. So I would love to, and maybe she won't come, maybe she will. She's probably worried that we're gonna just attack her, but I don't want to attack her. I just want to ask her, and I want to see what her vision is, and because I really want her to represent all of us. So if everyone was good with that, I would love to just, we sent out a letter, but I'd love to send out an invitation as things calm down to come to council and kind of give us kind of a lowdown of what she has in store for this district.
I'm fully behind that idea. Like, I think having a conversation about this kind of stuff is the most important thing at these kind of times. Talking about it.
Yeah.
I'm definitely on board with that idea. Anything else? Comments? Ryan, would you be inclined to, send a communication to the representative's office and see if she was amenable to spending a little bit of time with us at the Basalt Town Council?
Yes, yeah, I can do that.
Good deal.
And please just make sure that she's not, this is not to, I'm really serious about not attacking her. I'm really serious about listening, and that she will be able to speak before any of us speaks, and she could put her thing out. I'm not here to just attack her. She's our representative, and I'm not happy about it, but she is, and we need to, I'm just hoping that we can turn this around so she's really representing us as best as we can, as she can.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think to that point, it would be nice to also maybe invite, you know, some county commissioners and some of the other city councils around here. And that way she could present her vision to a bunch of us at once.
That would be awesome. I mean, it would be awesome for us to really just hear from her and in a kind of a neutral format. And we're not here to attack, we're here to listen and just tell her this is going to be stuck on the issues, not the person.
Yeah, I mean, there's a orthodox framework for this called town hall meetings. So she could easily set up a town hall meeting for however we want to define it, the Roaring Fork Valley, the Upper Roaring Fork Valley, however we want to kind of parse it out. So yeah, I think that'd be a good suggestion to maybe frame it as a town hall meeting where she can state her positions and then we have a Q&A and a dialogue with her. But I certainly share all those views. I think that the current reevaluation of the Colorado Compact and the water situation on the West Slope and future of agriculture and COVID and wildlife and parks and demographic, all these things are really critical that we have a solid representation. So I couldn't agree more that we really ought to hear more than just the Second Amendment issue. Okay. Any other comments, general comments from council? David?
Yes. So first, Gary, great idea. Looking forward to that. And yeah, I think it's important to not have that be kind of a stunt, but more of a real dialogue. You kind of set the example for the region, the district. But my comment was kind of more local in nature, and that was around idling. I know we brought it up several times. I think there's some low-hanging fruit as far as opportunity to educate about idling and what our rules are at the middle school and the elementary school. And I walk over there for pickup every day. I know it's cold, but you know, cars are pretty well insulated, at least for, you know, the amount of time that you're sitting there waiting at the curb. So I would just ask, you know, Ryan, if we could have a little more enforcement over there, because it's, you know, it smells like exhaust on those sidewalks around, you know, school pickup time. So thank you.
David, if I could just provide a quick bit of feedback. We've been working with the PD and then with the green team and have made some progress. The PD has reached out to all of the HOAs in town, or mainly, and Aaron can correct me if I'm wrong, but all the sort of apartment buildings and things, I don't know if they did all the larger neighborhood, single family home neighborhoods yet or not, but and then they've been making contact daily with folks, mainly focusing so far on the convenience stores, where we're seeing a lot of kind of quick in and out and people leaving their vehicles idling. And then with the green team, we are actually looking at doing a cooperative effort with the town of Carbondale and putting out information across the community, both English and Spanish, newspaper, radio ads, and that type of thing. So we're going to try to blitz the community so they understand what those consequences are. And then Lieutenant Munch is on the line here. So David, he did hear what you said about the school, so we could kind of expand that effort over there if they haven't been doing that already.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Please.
And I was going to write a letter to the editor and I dropped the ball. So I will. I'm still hoping to write a letter to the editor. And David, if you're interested, I would welcome to have you co-sign with me.
Just check it out. Happy to check that out.
Well, I am not going, I think I'm going to rely on Ryan to give us a little more meat on the bones, but just a couple updates. I represented our town at a really nice, kind of fun, but very fun little event at the library called the Legends of Basalt. And that took place Friday night, and you can see that. I think they have it ready to go. It's a click in. It was a Zoom gathering and some really fabulous photography from back in the day, construction of the Hagerman Pass project, and really marvelous stuff. Leroy Durox and Janice are on there. It's really a pretty neat summary of the history of the town. So that took place. We've had lots of communication with Eagle County, and I think I'll defer to Ryan to fill in the holes here. I think there are really two broad topics. One is financial assistance from both COVID follow-up. Probably everyone knows Eagle County was attempting to disperse $1 million before the end of the year, and then another $2 million in 2021 and COVID relief funding. They're going to have $3 million out. We have a new version of the PPP program, which is being funded under the new COVID relief that was just passed by Congress. So I think we'll be working through both the town manager's office and through the chamber and anyone else on the council that wants to make sure we communicate with our restaurateurs and retailers, let them know that that funding is back again and is available. That's an important thing to know, and important to know about the Eagle County funding. And I think we've had some restaurateurs that have applied and actually received pretty significant assistance. So important to know about the vaccine. I think I have maybe up to the minute information. We are still operating in Tier 1B, which are health workers and those at risk and 70 years of age and above. CDC just recommended that it be open, that two changes be undertaken. One is that it be broadened to include everyone 65 years of age and older, and that that vaccine that had been saved for second inoculations be released and used for first inoculations, which is obviously going to just about double the amount of vaccine that we have available. So Eagle County has implemented a lottery system, a pre-registration, and then they will pick names randomly. And so you will be selected that way to get the vaccine. So I'm going to hold off and let Ryan under his section talk more about Bunny. But I think I really have to thank and sort of acknowledge everybody in the community. These are really difficult days, particularly for the guys in the restaurant business and everyone connected with tourism. We had a really difficult meeting yesterday with the Pitt County Board of Health. We had some changes implemented there. Have relatively, they impact you hard if they impact you. The town-wide, they're relatively minimal. I think Elise may have a different view of it, but it's like that old saying is, it's a recession when your neighbor loses his job, and it's a depression when you lose yours. And it's these regs, hit people very differently. So, we're going to have serious limitations on dining in our restaurant community within the Pitt County portion of our town. So Eagle County is standing pat. So anyway, that kind of summarizes my thoughts. I just really am impressed and grateful for everybody in the town soldiering through these times with the uncertainty at school and skiing on the incredible hardship of thin snow, which obviously not much of a hardship. So With that, I think maybe we turn to the manager's report. Let Brian, let somebody who knows what's going on here talk. So you're up, Brian.
And you're also on mute.
After I bark at everybody for being muted, then I do it myself. I'll start off with the vaccinations, and as Bill said, we're still working through that group, the 1B group, and we do know in Pitkin County the sign up, is occurring, and it looks like at the latter part of this week, Thursday and Friday, they're going to be doing up to 1,100 vaccinations, and so ideally they'll get quite a few. My understanding was that they had about 2,400 folks that are currently signed up, and that does include permanent residents and then some second homeowners and long-term renters, and that cohort that is larger than what our demographic information shows for that 70 plus cohort currently. So they'll be working through that, but it was good news to know that they had 1,100 that would be done. Eagle County, they've administered 4,400 doses to date, and they will be continuing to work through their groups. I don't have that sort of exact number of doses, but one of the takeaways is they were, statewide, it looks like they were trying to have 70% of the 70 plus cohort vaccinated by the 1st of March. And so, I think what that acts to do, being, a high-risk group, is reduce the hospitalizations and, some of those more severe cases. And so, as Bill said, it does look like there will be a rollout of from the federal level, the additional vaccinations they were holding to do second doses, and we may get a quicker first dose into people's arms, which is great news. It does look like they're still doing the Eagle County through a lottery, that just being the most fair way to do it. And they were really hoping to try to avoid the lines, obviously not having people show up and then, kind of get in line together and potentially create an infection through that. So that's basically what we know for now on those fronts with the vaccination. And then, there was good news that as far as the funding goes, Eagle County had, as of yesterday, $1.7 million left that they intend to give out. We did send out an email from this office just informing our Eagle County businesses, and we did get several calls today about that. I think we had 14 businesses over here receive funding, and those were on the order of $15,000 per business, so it was a significant sum that they received. And Pitkin County is working with Aspen Community Foundation to provide some of the balance of their CARES Act funding for community members to be able to seek funds. And that was approximately $1.3 million, and that is not ready yet, but should be coming in the very near term. As Bill said, the PPP has been released, so there was an initial draw that happened at the beginning of this week, and that was for folks that had not been able to access it in the first round in the early part of the pandemic. And then the second draw, which is now available as of today, I believe it was, includes those that have received it before. So these businesses can seek that PPP funding. As I understand it, it's going through our local banks. That's who they will work through to get that. And I think looking ahead, Chris and I had a conversation, and then we were talking internally as far as, is there more that the town needs to do at this point, wants to do? And so certainly we're open to hear that. Given that we have sort of a bridge here, the town did make a significant investment in what we know is going to be an ongoing problem of mental health related to this, and that's $150,000 toward the Hope Center, and then of course we've put $100,000 into the schools at this point, and then I think some of the additional grants that will roll out for the nonprofits that can be serving the community directly. Excuse me. Will certainly help put another $80,000 into the community. And so if we feel and can monitor, this situation for, the coming days, it may be that as we get toward the warmer months and kind of getting people into the vaccination mode, that the town would be at the ready to really help with a marketing campaign, perhaps. As Chris and I were talking, we were probably, not much more than 60 days out from being able to open up that outdoor dining opportunity again for folks. And I think it's extremely important that if this council hears from people, worries about restaurants closing, the Picken County going into red, I know we have a few restaurants that will certainly affect. And so we want to pay close attention to that. The majority of our restaurants, I did hear back from a friend today who works at a restaurant, and the rumor mill was going around about, oh, we're going to close one side of Midland Avenue and leave the other side open. And I have no idea where these things are generated, but all of Midland Avenue, Two Rivers Road, in the downtown area, and then of course all of Willits is Eagle County. I had a conversation with Eagle County, and it does not appear that they are looking to make a move to going into red. Their incidence rate, while increasing, is not anywhere near what we were seeing in Pitkin County. And so for now, the outlook for our local businesses within Eagle County is good. And so, I think it's really about looking to see what happens with our Pitkin businesses. Yesterday's health order, as I understand it, only affected the restaurants, because there was an effect to lodging. We don't have any of our lodges within Pitkin County. And the Orange Plus Plus had already essentially put similar restrictions on personal services and things of that nature. So that was the tweak that really affects us, and I know that comes close to home in this group. So with that, that's sort of what I have there. A couple other quick issues. Many of you probably received a text today with regard to some ice damming that was occurring. We actually had a release that got hung up in Aspen Glen. And that could very well, with tomorrow's warm day, end up coming down this way. And there's quite a bit of ice built up. And so certainly we'll be putting out those alerts and letting fishermen who are in the rivers and whatnot know that.
Hey, Ryan, it got stuck at Lazy Glen.
Lazy Glen, yeah, not.
Oh, at Lazy Glen, sorry. At Lazy Glen, but tomorrow's going to be warm. And so we could very well have a release tomorrow that makes its way to Basalt. And so, our officers are very good about running up and down the river looking for fishermen who may be unaware, and certainly those texts that go out onto people's phones are very important to alert the public. Let's see, I was going to mention something about idling, and we did that. And then Christy, if you want to just share a little bit of information about the sales tax numbers, we just got those in, so hot off the press. And Christy?
Yeah, thank you, Ryan. I appreciate that. So these are the year-end numbers. So usually I don't release these until we have a little bit more information, but I wanted to get you guys some preliminary totals just so everybody's aware of where we're landing right now. It looks like compared to 2019, that based upon some estimations, that will be somewhere around 14.3% up comparatively, and so that's ahead of our projection by roughly 200,000 on the general fund and about 96,000 on post. So that's good news. Looking at the overall December estimate, we're up about 7.9% based upon those estimations. Again, these numbers are subject to change, but still fairly good news. There weren't a lot of losers, if you will. For December, I would say just lodging and restaurants without bar were in the 5 to 7% loss category compared to last year, and then utilities were down 12%. Everybody else was up comparatively. So unless anybody has any questions, that was all I was going to share for right now.
Great. Is the 14%, Christy, the entire year, 2020 or 2019?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Yes, it is. That's the entire year, 14.3% up. And the numbers that I talked about, the 200,000 and the 96,000, favorable compared to projection, are also for the entire year.
David.
Was the 7.9 year on year, like December to December, or was that budget? Was up?
That was December of 2019, just the month of December 2019 versus the month of December of 2020. That's comparative between years. Thank you.
Cool. Thanks.
So, you know, we've seen some of the impact of the online sales at that point in December, but we still saw even more in 2021. So we're starting to equalize our increases.
Any other comment, question? All right, thanks, Ryan. We, at this point, will move on to council actions.
Bill, I think Elise had a question.
Oh, I didn't see.
All right.
Hi there, Elise.
Sorry, I was going to ask during our council comments that you jumped into Ryan's report quickly, and then I figured I might as well wait and see if you covered it. I am going to put Gary Tenenbaum on the spot here. Yesterday in that BOCC meeting, they made the decision to go to red. They talked about using a model that the Open Space and Trails Committee was using for, what's it called? Policing, so to speak. And that made me think about a comment I saw on the Basalt community page on Facebook about what are the mask requirements on Albany Kittle. There was some confusion that is technically Pitkin County, so it's Pickens County rules, not City of Basalt rules. So I thought just maybe Gary could give us a quick heads up on what's going on there.
So the mask, like Pitkin County doesn't have an overall, you know, county-wide mask ordinance outside. So,
okay.
Yeah, so if you are within 6 feet of somebody, you have to wear a mask no matter what. But when you're outside and you're beyond 6 feet of somebody, you do not have to have that mask on. So that's our rangers, you know, we're not ticketing for any public health order issue. We're just informing people. You know, what we're seeing on Albany is an interesting, you know, it's a very social hike, and people are socially near each other. And, you know, we're just reminding people, if you're within 6 feet, unless you're in the same household, obviously you don't have to wear a mask if you're in the same household, but if you're not. So that's the thing. Pitkin is not changing to an overall countywide mask ordinance inside and outside.
Gary, for clarity, if you're within 6 feet, you need to wear a mask. Is it similar to ours, though, that if it's a brief pass by, that is an exception or not?
Yes. I mean, you know, the reality of all these things is it's really to try to get we're trying to get people to be responsible. And if you see other people, put your mask up. And if you're coming by people, please put your mask up. But, you know, is anyone going to enforce if you just quickly go by somebody without a mask? No, but we're trying to get people to, you know, when you're out on the trails, on the Rio Grande, Albany Kill, wherever you are outside, you know, just put a buff on. I know they're not the best, but at least it's something. They're at the ski areas too, or a mask. And if you see somebody, pull it up if you're coming close. If you're not, you're within 6 feet, you're 6 feet and beyond, don't worry about it. But really, truly, you know, Albany, you get within 6 feet of people. So it's just nice. What I've seen is people, for the most part, about 75%, you know, will pull up a mask when they're passing somebody. So we're hoping that continues. The biggest problem, Elise, is that some of our trails, we have seen major braiding of the trails because people are trying to social distance themselves. So, you know, we're getting like, you know, single track is not single anymore. It's getting double and everything because people are trying to, you know, where they can get away from people. So that's the other thing is like, just put the mask on and try not to braid the trails either. We're going to be doing a lot of work. Picken County got a grant this year to work with Roaring Fork Outdoor Volunteers for $98,000 to really step up the amount of maintenance we're going to do on all the trails to really deal with the impacts of COVID because we have seen it. You'll see if you go up to the Lost Man Trail, that's the most obvious one. It's just amazing how many braids have been created. So, you know, anyway, thanks, Elise, for bringing it up. It's a good reminder to everyone because a lot of people, you know, we've also had the people that are screaming at other people, put your mask on, put your mask on. And we want them to know what the real regulations are because we're trying to have everyone get along. Honestly, I thank the Basalt Police. They helped our rangers this weekend. We adults are not playing well in the sandbox together right now. We are having the worst compliance with all our regulations outside than we ever had, especially in winter. And the adults, and it's all adults, and they just don't, you know, we have adults running away from rangers when they're trying to talk to them. We have adults just not doing the right thing. And we have people yelling at each other about masks, about distancing, about Second Amendment rights, about you name it. And it's too bad. I'm hoping as the spring comes along, we get some normalcy. And I really feel bad. If we're seeing it on the trails, I can only imagine what the police are dealing with. It's too bad. And I just want to scold all the adults and tell everybody, come on, let's be kind to each other and really try to change it because I could go on forever about the stories that we have in the last 2 weeks. It's just absolutely unbelievable.
Thanks, Gary.
All right. With that, I think we're ready to turn to council actions unless there are further comments, discussion. So first order of business is the appointment to the Parks and Open Space and Trails Committee. It's the appointment of Amy White Beasley to the Parks, Open Space and Trails Post Committee. Susan, you want to?
Sure, and let's just get Amy on here. Her panelist invitation didn't work, so we had to elevate her. This is an opportunity to meet and talk to Amy White Beasley. Amy is interested in being appointed to the Post Committee. She's attended several Post meetings, and the Post Committee recommended her appointment to Post at their December 9th meeting. And the council might remember that when they were making appointments to their own, the boards throughout the valley, we discussed how we wanted to make appointments to committees. Previously, we relied on a council interviewing committee, and it was made out of council members. And at that May meeting this last year, the council decided that they wanted the committees to interview appointments to the committees. and make a recommendation to the council, except for P&Z. And so, again, Amy was interviewed by Post and recommended for approval. And this is really an opportunity for the council to meet Amy, meet her and find out why she's interested in serving on Post and what she thinks that she could bring to the Post committee. And, obviously all appointments are made by the town council. The recommendation from the Post committee is to appoint Amy White Beasley to Post. The motion in the agenda sheet is to make the appointment until April 30th, 2023, and the oddness of that date is just how the bylaws that were adopted by the town council work, because the appointments normally would run in April and would run for 3-year terms. So with that, if I could just maybe suggest that Amy introduce herself and tell a little bit about herself.
Sure.
Okay. Amy, thank you very much. We sincerely appreciate your interest and enthusiasm and maybe courage for applying for a post. So yeah, maybe a few words about what interests you about this, and so we can get to know you a little bit better. And the floor is yours.
Thanks. I think I've met many of you in the past. I've been a resident of Willits for about 13 years now, lived in Aspen for about 11, and I've raised 2 boys here, and wanted to just serve my community on a board and just get involved. I'm on the board at the art base currently. I'm the secretary there, and so I'm involved in the art scene, but I just felt like I'm a journalist by trade, and normally I'm traveling a lot for my job, and I've been grounded since March, and probably will be grounded for quite some more time. So just thought I would jump in and use my extra time for our community, which I think is so special. And one of the best parts about it is it's open space and trails. And so I want to make sure that I was a part of that moving forward and maintaining what we've got presently.
Great. Questions of council for Amy?
I just want to thank you for applying, and I think it's awesome that you're participating.
Appreciate it.
Yep, I just wanted to chime in too, and this is Bill Infante, and say thank you, Amy, for volunteering. We look forward to your leadership, your experience, your great ideas that you'll help bring to our already formidable Post team. So thank you.
Great, thanks, Bill.
Yeah, this isn't a rough interview.
Well, I have one. I got one good question for Amy. For the Post, I mean, since you've been attending a couple of them, what is your vision, for parks, open space, and trails for Basalt?
Do I have an overarching vision? I can't say that I do. I just want our money to be spent in a really good way. I want to make sure that it's going to benefit both sides of the town. I think I am the second. I think there's 2 of us from Willits, but just want to make sure that the Willits side of town also gets a voice. I really was interested in Post because of, there's 3.
Mm-hmm. Cindy Bruce lives there.
I was really interested because of the conversation around the pool. And I was, I really feel strongly about using some of the funds for upgrading that facility, and just thought that I could be of help. So I don't have an overarching kind of vision. I'm more of a taskmaster. Like, I want to be told what to do and give me a job and I'll go do it. So whatever works for the board in collection is the way that I am happy to go.
Can I ask another one?
Sure.
So what do you think? I mean, you've been here for 13 years. So what are we missing? What do you want us? What do you see the town, doing? It's not a vision necessarily, but what are some of the things you'd like to see?
In terms of Post?
Yeah.
specifically. I think just more understanding of where our parks and open space are. I think there's a few hidden gems that people don't know about, and I want people to see our spaces as places where they can work and hang out with their kids and have picnics, and I want more use, to be perfectly honest. And so I think through use there'll be more respect for those spaces and more investment emotionally and maybe even financially down the road. I think that the more people are aware of what we have, I think they'll work harder to protect it. And that's kind of where, that's how I feel about our parks and open space. I want them to remain, and I want more of them hopefully down the road.
Be careful what you ask for. People have found.
Susan's like, what?
Well, it's just,
you didn't say that.
I would have agreed with you last year, but after COVID, people have found all the little hidden gems, and if you're like, do I really want more use? It's kind of interesting, but that was a good answer. I like that. I do want people to realize in Basalt that what we got.
Yeah, I want them to be proud of it.
Yeah. That's all.
Thanks, Gary.
Any council questions for Amy? David?
I'm sorry you're not able to get on the road for your work, but I appreciate that you're going to use the time to help the town. So loved hearing from you. So thank you for applying.
Sure. Thanks, David.
Anyone else? Elise?
Thank you for more female representation in government.
Thanks, Elise.
Is that really necessary?
Yes, it is.
Yes,
in fact.
I heartily endorse that statement as well. So, okay. Thank you, guys. Excellent questions. I am prepared to entertain a motion. I think you'll see the motion in the packet to appoint Amy White Beasley to our Parks and Open Space Trails Committee. So, floor is open for a motion.
Mayor, I move the town council approve ordinance, that's the wrong one. Mayor, I approve the town council appoint Amy White Beasley per the recommendations in the agenda summary sheet to post committee.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Voice vote, Pam, or do we need the roll call? Voice vote. Okay. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Okay, Amy, you're on there. Thank you very
Thanks
much.
so much.
Really appreciate
Thanks for your time.
your energy and look forward to working with you.
Great, me too. Thanks, everybody.
Okay. So, next item. This is a public hearing and second reading of ordinance number 28, series of 2020. Ordinance of the Town Council of the Town of Basalt, Colorado, authorizing financing of improvements to the Albany Park and Pool, and in connection therewith, authorizing the conveyance and subsequent leasing of certain town property, and the execution and delivery by the town of a deed of ground lease, a lease purchase agreement, and other documents related to the financing. Ryan and Christy will guide us through this item.
Oh, I think Elise has her hand up.
I'm going to be recusing myself.
Okay, thanks, Elise.
All right. So I'll kick it off just briefly. On the phone, we've got Dee Weiser, who was our counsel in assisting us through this process. And then, of course, Bruce Kimmel, an integral part of the team, helped us with putting together the RFP and soliciting the banks, and really did a great job for us. So over the last handful of weeks, between Christy and Jeff and Dee and Bruce, really quite a bit of work was done, and we're going to share some of those results with you. And I think Bruce is prepared to talk through what we heard back from our banking institutions and their proposals.
Thanks, Ryan, and thanks, Mayor and Council, Bruce Kimmel with others. And yeah, I'm really pleased to be with you tonight and to share these outstanding results. You may recall when we spoke last month, we had conservatively estimated a 2% interest rate for the COPs with a 5-year term. I think I indicated that we had hoped to be closer to 1.75 or somewhere in that range. And we actually did far better than that, which is really outstanding. Christy just pulled up the bid tabulation of the 5 bids that we received on the town's behalf. You can see that the lowest bid on an interest rate basis came from Truist, which used to be known as BB&T out of Charlotte, North Carolina, at 1.11%. And Alpine Bank here in Basalt was the cover bid or second place bid at 1.35%. Now, it may seem that 24 basis points or 0.24% is a lot, but when you look at the actual net interest cost of that differential, it's only about a $20,000 difference. And I'll speak a little bit more about that in a moment. But then we also did receive 3 other bids on your behalf. BBVA out of Denver came in right after Alpine at 1.37%. First Bank out of Lakewood, but also there in the Roaring Fork Valley, came in at 1.75%. And then Citywide Banks came in a little bit off the pace, but still a decent rate of about 2.37%. So really, any of the 5 proposals would have met the parameters that you laid out in the ordinance that's in front of you. But certainly, excuse me, Truist and Alpine had the best proposals. I would note that they were also very similar in terms of fees that they were proposing to charge in addition to the interest rate. And both of them accepted Albany Park and Pool Complex as the asset or the collateral for the COP, which was important. And finally, both of those 2 said that the town would have the ability to prepay at any point without penalty. We had put forth the RFP saying we weren't requiring a prepayment provision. We wanted to really drive to the lowest possible interest rates, but we welcomed alternative call features if the banks felt like offering a call option wouldn't impair their rate proposals, and both BB&T and Alpine opted to provide that. So in looking at the proposals, again, it was about a $20,000 difference, and town staff was able to talk with Alpine, and as you saw in Christie's cover memo, Alpine offered a $10,000 grant payable over 2 years, and she's pulling up that offer letter here to basically cut in half or meet halfway, the interest rate difference. Actually, it's more than halfway because you're getting this $10,000 benefit over 2 years instead of over 5 years. So we really felt good about the Alpine Bank proposal, and felt that for this reason, as well as the fact that they're a valued community member, you already have a banking relationship with Alpine, it just made a lot of sense to go with Alpine as the COP provider here. And certainly, while Truist was disappointed not to receive the proposal, they understand the value of community banking. They certainly rely on having strong community banking relationships, mostly in the southeastern United States. And they were very active, though, in Colorado, and said that there'd be absolutely no hard feelings, and they hope to win the next time the town goes out for a COP. So we left things on really good terms with Truist, as well as the other banks. We thank them all for their participation. And the last thing I would just note is that this is an awesome project for the town, but as I think we mentioned last month, it's what's considered a non-essential asset, which sometimes leads banks to get a little bit skittish about bidding on COPs when it's for something that you might think a town might be perhaps more likely to not appropriate for. But the banks that proposed on this all know Basalt. They know that you have a very strong credit rating, that you have excellent financials. They know that you're proposing to use post funds to pay this debt service, and that this debt service of about $440,000 per year will only take about 19% of your annual post revenues for the next 5 years. And for all these reasons and more, they really said, look, we might have taken a pass on another town that was proposing to finance pool improvements through COPs, but we really believe in this project and in the community, and it was exciting to see such strong interest. So that's all I have, Mayor and Council. I'd be happy to answer any questions, but again, 2 really outstanding proposals, and we feel very confident in recommending Alpine Bank's proposal to you tonight.
Great. Well, Bruce, congratulations on getting this thing out and turned around so quickly. It's kind of remarkable to see definitive proposals like this come back so rapidly. This is really kind of impressive. So really.
Yeah, and Mayor, I'm glad you mentioned that, because oftentimes you get into this little bit of limbo where they'll say, well, this is an offer, but it's not really definitive. And I know at least the first 3 banks, maybe all 5 of them, said this is a definitive offer to finance. So there was no ifs, ands, or buts there, which was impressive also, and I think speaks to the confidence they had in working with the town of Basalt.
Great. So Ryan, maybe a point of clarification in the actual motion to approve ordinance 28. Does this have the selection of Alpine Bank embedded in it, or is that a separate action we need to take? How do we take that on?
So I believe that you would want, you'd want to call out Alpine Bank, but I'd have to,
And Ryan, this is.
yeah, thanks.
I'll let Dee correct me if I'm wrong on this, but the way the ordinance was structured was parameters to approve parameters, and that then there's administrative authority to then make the selection from among the bidders to finalize those documents. And Dee, please correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I believe that's how we set this up.
No, you've got it exactly right, Jeff.
Right. Very good. Questions for Bruce or Ryan or the team here about financing? This is pretty impressive, 1.35%. Are they? Let's talk to Alpine Bank about mortgage arrangement here. That sounds pretty good.
Mr.
Right.
Just one note that this is a public hearing, and so we should take any public comment.
All right, thank you very much. Susan, thank you very much, if you wouldn't mind.
Sure. I think that we have one attendee that might want to speak. Just a reminder that you can access through the Agenda Center, the 4th page in the packet that you can pull up and do that link. That's the easiest way, or you can call 1-669-900-6833, and the webinar ID is 930-74-84-69-69. And we have one, I'm not sure if Tony wants to speak on this item or the next item. And there's one other attendee in the waiting room, and I'm not sure if that is Elise or that's someone that wants to speak. So that's Tony.
So Tony's the only one in the waiting room at this time.
Okay. And she's unmuted, so I'm not sure. Tony, did you want to speak?
Hello?
There she is.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, and just to let everyone know, Susan sounds like she's in an echo chamber, and you can barely understand what you're saying, Susan.
It is a little south. Yeah, it's, I don't know why.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So okay, thank you so much, Mayor Kane. So I sent James Lint an email with 2 slides in it. James, are you able to put those up?
Yes, I'm working on it. Just a quick second here.
Tony,
okay, thank you. So as he's putting, I'm sorry, what was that?
Let me just caution you about one matter. This matter is to do with the financing.
About the financing for the pool. I totally get it.
Yeah.
So thank you so much. So since it's the financing for the pool, the question that I have is, do you really know what you're getting for the amount of money that you're putting out for the pool? And as you know, one of the important things is that the pool doesn't raise the admission. And I was wondering, one, if there's a revenue and expense sheet projected with the addition of the robot pool. And then first off, I wanted to thank all of your predecessors who made this happen, because I was involved with the Basalt Master Plan and the Post Master Plan, and as part of the goals, we had two things: one, multi-generational pool, and a hot tub. And while neither one of those two things were accomplished with this design, I still want to thank them very much, because it's still a goal of the community, especially the hot tub aspect of it. But so James, if you can get those up there, that'd be awesome. And so I have an ask. And the ask, when James is able to put these pictures up, you're going to see how much water we're getting in the interactive pool. When I was attending the post committee meetings, the post committee had actually agreed to deepen the pool, the interactive pool, the activity pool. It's not a swimming pool, but a play pool, to 4 feet. And 4 feet of water is what Aspen has, Snowmass, Carbondale, Glenwood, Rifle, Gypsum. Every other pool has got 2 things that Basalt doesn't have. Again, one of them is a hot tub, and the other one's a pool that is deep enough for the whole family. You can see on these slides right here, I'm not sure which one James has got up, if he's got the bikini shot or if he has the family swimming, but every picture in these 2 slides will show you how deep your new activity pool is. My ask is that the sections that they had originally designed to go to 4 feet, if we could do an 11th change order to the contract and just dig 2 feet deeper. And then the second ask I have is the hot tub. And I do have a swimming business. I've been teaching swimming for over 40 years in this area. Lobbied hard in Aspen, Snowmass, Carbondale, Glenwood, every municipality, and we got the family pool. If you put in the 4 feet, you'll be able to have families walk in. James, if you could put that second slide up, that'd be awesome.
So
And,
Tony, I have the photos, pool photos up. Is that the one you're looking for?
Say again?
I have the pool photos slide up.
Right, and then there's another one called the bikinis.
Okay, that one's up now.
So you can just see how deep it is, and you can see that mom with the little baby right there. You know, you were told that you could teach a baby how to swim in 2 feet of water, but you can't. You see how that mom is? But James, is there a second slide?
Yes.
And I want to thank you all very much, because these improvements are going to be great. But as you know, okay. So this slide here shows you how 2 feet. That's the amount of the body that's going to be underneath the water.
Tony,
So anyway, my ask is, as I said, if we can make it a little bit deeper, and if we can add the hot tub.
great. Thank you very much. I think you've gotten to your fair 3 minutes, and we appreciate your comments. We'll see if there are other public comment.
Okay, thank you so much, Mayor Kane. I appreciate it.
Pam or Susan, is there anyone
No,
else?
I don't have anybody else queued up. Pam, you don't have anybody, correct?
Correct, I have no one else in the waiting room.
All right, with that, I will close the public hearing on ordinance number 28. And I'll ask if there is any further discussion from council, or if not, a motion.
Mayor, I move the town council approve ordinance number 28, series of 2020 on second reading.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded. Pam, please call the roll.
Certainly. let's begin with Elise Hoddle.
She recused.
Oh, that's right, I'm sorry. I put that on there. Let's begin then with Ryan Slack.
Yes.
Thank you, Ryan. Bill Kane.
Yes.
Thank you, Bill. Gary Tenenbaum.
Yes.
Thank you, Gary. David Knight.
Yes.
Thank you, David. Bill Infante.
Yes.
Thank you, Bill. And Glenn Drummond.
Yes.
Thank you, Glenn. Motion carries.
Thank you very much. Thanks, guys. With that, we will move to item 6C, public hearing and second reading of ordinance number 29, series of 2020. Ordinance of the Town Council, Town of Basalt, Colorado, approving supplemental budget for Albany Park and certificates of participation. Christie.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen again. Let's move this down a little bit. When we approved the budget for 2021, this was all kind of coming to fruition, and there was still a lot of question around outstanding, and so we felt it important because of the dollar amount of the ad that we put it as a separate supplemental budget than the 2021 budget, which is what's denoted in here. And so I'm just going to really focus in on Exhibit A in that supplemental budget. The rest is just, you know, the normal ordinance with the supplemental budget. But really this outlines just that we're going to be getting in the certificates of participation. Those are going to go to be utilized into the post funds. The Alpine Bank grant, that's in 2 years, $5,000 per year. And then there's some rebates for the PV panels. That's kind of a wash in the post expenses. And then additional construction of $2,054,000. So that's what the COPs are gaining us. We have some costs of issuance. The $61,741 is the actual cost of issuance. There's, as Bruce noted, there's approximately about $15,000 that usually is required administration for banks. For the proposal, that was true with Alpine Bank, and then plus the fees for all of the attorney fees and closing costs. And then some additional benefit for the project of $10,000 for that Alpine Bank, that grant that we're going to all spend in 2021. So this just notes all of that in there, just so it's really clear where we're at on this particular project.
Okay.
Any questions?
Questions for Christie? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to approve ordinance number 29, series of 2020.
Except that you're gonna have a public hearing first, aren't you, Mayor?
Gotta have the public hearing part.
Okay, sorry. So Susan, let's open it up for public hearing.
Sure, and we have one attendee in the waiting room. Again, the easiest way to access is through the Agenda Center, the 4th page, and hit the link. Or you can call 669-900-6833, and the webinar ID is 930-7484-6969. So I believe that potentially Tony would like to speak again on this item. She is an attendee. So Tony, did you want to speak?
Susan, oh, there she goes.
Hello?
There she is.
Oh, hi there. So, shall I speak? I'm usually wait until the mayor calls me to speak.
Yeah,
And
Tony is,
I apologize.
you're acknowledged, so
Okay.
keep your comments to 3 minutes and keep them focused on the question, which is supplemental budget appropriation improvements.
Great. Great. So there's just 2 documents that I would love to take a look at. And one of them is how this money is broken down, and what part of it is going to which sections of it, like how much the locker rooms are going to cost, and how much that interactive pool and then the ramp, and then again, if we have any like profit and loss or revenue or expense sheet on how much you think all of this is going to cost, that would be awesome. And that's it for my comments. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So all of the underlying budget assumptions are a matter of public record. So Ryan, I'm sure that they can be made available.
And it sounds like as far as costs for the improvements, that would have been in the proposal, the RUD proposal. And so that would be.
And it is, it's itemized for locker rooms and robot pools.
Okay.
Yeah, it's detailed out.
Not certain. And then I will say, as far as a profit and loss statement, this is considered a town service, so it wasn't intended that it's sort of an enterprise, and we're doing this as an improvement to an existing community pool, and really just trying to enhance it and bring it up to current standards. And so there wasn't a need for a pro forma for this improvement.
Okay, so we'll be able to keep the admission fee at $5 for adults and seniors for $3 and the kids and whatnot. And then, as you know, we've struggled with trying to get guards. So just need to make sure that those things are taken care of so that Brian has a good staff to work with. And then is there a contingency left over from the budget? And
no, I think
do we have a little cushion?
We're getting outside the base paths of public comment. I think, Tony,
okay.
I would suggest if you want to get into the details of the budget, maybe we take this offline. You can follow up with James. James can get you any documents you need in terms of what the underlying budget assumptions were. And
okay.
Documents. I think there's everything in there that would address every question you have. But I think this is a little bit off the point for our public hearing right now. So thank you for the comment.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Any additional public comments?
I don't have anybody else in the queue. Pam, you didn't
I do
either.
not.
Is that a no?
That's a
I
no.
do not.
Okay. All right. With that, I'll close the public hearing and ask for either discussion or a motion to approve ordinance number 29 of 2020.
Mayor, I move the town council adopt ordinance number 29, series of 2020 on second reading.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right. Moved and seconded. Pam, please call the roll.
Absolutely. All right. Let's begin with Gary Tenenbaum.
Yes.
Thank you. Glenn Drummond.
Yes.
Thank you. Bill Infante.
Yes.
Thank you. David Knight.
Yes.
Thank you. Bill Kane.
Yes.
Thank you. And Ryan Slack.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries.
Great. Thank you, guys. We now move on to item 6D, this public hearing and second reading of ordinance number 30, series of 2020, an ordinance of the town council of the town of Basalt, Colorado, amending the 2021 budget and providing for a supplemental appropriation related to the purchase of Lot 4, Mid-Valley Center PUD, Basalt, Colorado. Ryan and Jeff and Christy.
So, Mayor, if you recall at the last meeting, we'd actually made a shift with this ordinance and started anew because when we initially put this supplemental budget together, we intended to close in 2020. And so we just wanted to reflect the supplement for the year 2021, that fiscal year. And so that is reflected here. This is a second reading and a public hearing.
Good. All right. Jeff or Kristen, do you
Point of-
have?
So sorry, point of order, should we get Elise back on? I don't know if she's on the line.
I did let her know.
I did too.
Yeah.
I just
Sorry,
texted her
no,
as well. There she is. Let's pop her in.
The only other thing I would say is that we just added some notes with that too on the Exhibit A, just to make it very clear as far as the change, some of the changes, like for the Public Works facility, that the price had been reduced, and there's some improvements needed on the property, and so we just changed that. So now that the purchase and the improvements for the Public Works facility in this supplemental budget. So just some clarifying points there. That's it.
Okay, any questions of staff by council? Hearing none, we'll open it for public comment, public hearing. So Susan, if you would do the honors.
Sure. Again, the easiest way to access a request for public comment is to the fourth page of the agenda on the Agenda Center on the town's webpage. You can also call us at 1-669-900-6833, and the webinar ID is 930-7484-6969, and I understand that we have one person in the waiting room ready to speak. Correct, Pam?
I have Tony in the waiting room and Elise Huddle, and Elise is now connecting.
Oh,
so-
okay, okay. So I'm sorry, I thought maybe someone else wanted to speak. So apparently we don't have anyone else queued up to speak in the waiting room.
Do we have anyone that wants to comment on ordinance number 30?
Not
All right.
online, no.
Great, thank you. With that, I'll close the public hearing and entertain discussion or a motion to approve ordinance number 30 of 2020.
All right. Mayor, I move that town council adopt ordinance number 30, series of 2020 on second reading.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Pam, further discussion? Pam, please call the roll.
Okay. Let's begin with Elise Huddle, since she's back.
Yes.
Thank you, Elise. Glenn Drummond?
Yes.
Thank you, Glenn. Bill Infante?
No, I remain unconvinced that this is the best and wisest use of our funds.
Thank you, Bill. David Knight?
Yes.
Thank you, David. Gary Tenenbaum?
Yes.
Thank you, Gary. Bill Kane?
Yes.
Thank you, Bill. And Brian Slack?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries 6-1.
Great, thank you, guys. Next item is a fun one to approve mural locations on town property for bpac mural project. This is cool stuff, so who,
Yeah, I was gonna do that one, Mayor. I think the council is aware that bpac has a lot of really fun programs lined up for 2021. They're gonna have an ice sculptures around town the first week of February. They're working on an arts master plan. They're bringing back the barrier project for restaurants that we had last year, and they're going to have a mural project. So there's 3 different ways that you can submit under a request for a proposal for a mural. The preferred is that you are an artist and a building owner and you come in together with something on private property, or you can be a building owner who's just offering their building to be a space for a mural or you can have, be an artist that has a concept and wants to be lined up with a space. So to do this, we thought that we needed to offer some town spaces that could be used for murals. And so we have 7 different areas that we listed in the staff memo. There's the back of the Lions Park stage. Currently, that's being used for the climate action mural. There's the space on the back of the Rafta bus stop on the north side of Two Rivers Road.
Hey, Susan?
Yeah?
Susan, can I stop you real quick?
Yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm having a hard time hearing. Could everybody just mute? I'm getting some funky feedback. Thank you.
Okay, we'll try this again. The spaces are the back of the Lions Park stage, the back of the Rafta bus stop on the north side of the road, on Two Rivers Road. There's a couple spaces at Town Hall. 99 Midland has a couple locations. That's where the art base and the planning department are located. We have the chain link fence in front of the Pocket Park over in Willits, that's just east of the roundabout, the Willits roundabout there. And we have the fence, the new fence that is along Willits Lane, the wood fence that's in front of Takaw and the Aspen Skiing Company Workforce Housing Project. And lastly, we have the fence and the shed by the Public Works facility that's over by the Willits Rugby Field. So those locations, that's what we're asking you to approve. That doesn't mean that an artist can't propose another space on a town space that we haven't listed here, but we would take that through an additional process. The thing that I would like to note, though, is that we're not including the underpasses, the 2 pedestrian underpasses in town. And I know it sounds like really fun to paint those with fun mural projects, but I think the most important thing is that we've been advised by our engineers. You might not be aware of this, but we used RAFTA and Picken County to help us manage the construction of the Basalt Avenue underpass, and the underpasses have a special painting on them to prevent graffiti and to be able to clean that. And they also have a special water coating because they're underground. And so they're recommending that we don't compromise the integrity of the construction of those underpasses by doing the amount of work that would be involved to make those being able to be painted. So we're not including those in the list, but artists can recommend other facilities that are on town property. So basically what you would be doing is going ahead and pre-approving these locations. I do have a PowerPoint with the pictures in them if you don't know where we're talking about here. And what we're looking for the commitment on these locations would be for a 2-year time frame. If you're on private property, the property owner has to guarantee that it could be up for at least a year, and they can make a proposal to make it a longer time frame that bpac would look at. So that's kind of what we're looking at, is a motion to approve these 7 locations, and I'm here if you have any questions. Oh, Bill, you're on mute. Sorry.
Is there any movement or conversation occurring regarding the big retaining wall behind our Thai restaurant? I think it's Shay Singer's property, most likely. I'm not sure who actually owns that wall, but you know, I think the bpac and Art Base guys were looking at that some time ago. Is that in play? Is that a possibility?
Yeah, that's what they're hoping for. They're hoping that an artist would come with approval from the property owner. Most of that wall that you see is the Shay Singer property, but then the other property where the pharmacy is, that wall kind of comes around. But what most people are looking at is really part of Shay Singer's. So that would be under the artist building owner or the building owners of a commercial space, so they can be part of this.
Great. Was the Tenenbaum residence a possibility? There's a wall there that addresses, I thought Gary was falling asleep. I got him there. Elise?
You're muted.
There you go.
There you go.
I was gonna say, it's probably hard to access this year. I might not have a good window of opportunity, but I was thinking the mechanical building at Albany Pool would be a fun place for a mural.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, this year we would be doing too much construction. So if this is successful, that would be maybe a good thing for next year. But this year you're kind of in a construction zone, but that's a really good idea.
Yeah. Great. So you would like just an approval.
Yep.
So we need a motion from council to approve the locations mentioned by Susan and encouraging creative examination of more. So sounds like fun.
Mayor, I move town council approve the mural location on town property per staff recommendation and private property if the owner will guarantee it's up per year.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, been moved and seconded. This might be a voice vote, is it? Yeah, so great. So all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, well, thank you guys. This is a record, I think, so far, at least during my short tenure, we're elapsed time of 2 hours or 1 hour and 1 hour and 40 minutes. That's not too bad. So any additional comment, discussion? If there's none, I will. Gary, are you saying goodbye or are you raising your hand?
Well, I was about to say goodbye, but.
Okay. All right, guys. Well, thank everybody and hang in. Spring is only 71 days away or something like that. I haven't done the count recently, but it's we're going to get there. Everybody's going to get shots and it's going to get better. So hang on. Thanks a lot.
Got that right.
Happy New Year.
Thanks, everybody. Night.
Nice to see everybody. Bye.
Night all. Bye.